Iconoclast Speaks.
All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Iconoclast Speaks. I am the Iconoclast, and this is F-Boy.
I don't have a beer.
That's all right.
I'm on a cleanse right now.
Look at you, being all healthy.
Right?
Wow, that's good,
Yeah,
man.
so
That's
far,
good.
it's been one day of
No
just
beer.
no beer, no meat, no all whole foods. So I've eaten a whole bunch of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, nuts, peanut butter.
Wow.
I had, lots of vegetables, and then I think, and a couple potatoes. But
Wow. You're being healthy.
yeah, well, based off of my perspective, I think it's healthy.
There you go.
Some people might be like, "Hey, man, potatoes."
So this we are going to talk about joy. Like, what brings joy to you? Like, being healthy. Does that bring joy to you?
Well, I think for me, like joy. So we're gonna talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all perspective. Everyone has like a different perspective on how to get that. You know, like I think joy. A lot of people see that as, oh, that means I'm happy all the time. But some people like they need the pain, they need the fear, they need stress in their life to actually get that stuff that makes life joyful. And that's kind of how I am. I like to put myself in a lot of high stress environments as far as like just having lots of work to do, and because it just makes me feel more accomplished rather than or like for example, like we go to the beach every year. Like I look forward to being together with my family every summer at the beach in Outer Banks for 1 week, and I like to have like those kind of systems in place for me. But what about you?
Well, let's see. Like, if you do joy, like Mother Teresa had joy, but she also had like a lot of hardship. If you look at her life, like
Explain that for viewers that don't know who Mother Teresa is.
Well, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who
I'm just saying, like some people might.
All right,
like,
you're right.
They might not know why she had hardships.
Okay, well, Mother Teresa was a nun, and she went to Calcutta. That's in India. It's in India.
Okay.
And she volunteered her life and time to helping the orphans in India. And she actually was started around the same time that Gandhi was there in India.
Okay.
And,
did they know each other? Did they ever talk?
I think that they did cross paths. I don't know full. I've seen the movie about Gandhi, and I've actually seen a movie about Mother Teresa, and I'm pretty sure they did cross paths, but I don't know that they were friends, quote unquote, but they were in India at the same time. And, she only recently died, like, I don't know how many years ago. But, I mean, she was a little firecracker. But, I mean, she's a tiny little woman.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she gave up a lot, and
But did she see it as giving up a lot?
No, I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Because her joy came from serving God. Mm-hmm. And that's where she got her joy. And so I know, like, people, like, can get joy in things and stuff, but I think a lot of times people get joy in a spiritual level.
Yeah.
From, like, a relationship with God and that's kind of what Mother Teresa did.
Some people, even, just to be devil's advocate, some people, like, when they're in that, any kind of atmosphere as far as, like, God or spirituality, like, that stresses them out. Like, that's not joyful for them.
Yeah, well, worries them and scares them.
Yeah, and it could be maybe, like, a previous experience, or maybe it's just, like, maybe they have no experience, and it's just, like, this is like, weird,
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who, they claim to have a spiritual life, and I'm sure they do. I don't know. I don't tend to judge people on that. Like, if they say that they're this or that, I tend to believe them. I give them the benefit of the doubt. They say I'm atheist. Okay, you're atheist.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time believing in atheism. I can't
Why?
grasp it because I think there's just so much out there that shows that there is a God.
Okay, explain that.
And-
Like, how do you know?
Well, just even the most simplistic creation, like a leaf. Like if you dissect a leaf and go into it, and it's so intricate. And even a one-celled creature, when you go in with a microscope and get to the microscopic level, it's so intricate that to think that there isn't someone or something that designed it, like this microphone was put together by a person. We
Yeah,
know
that's
it.
crazy.
We know it didn't
I
just
couldn't even
ran.
imagine
Yeah,
doing that. I would
right.
be that would not give me joy. That would
right. But
piss me
somebody
off if I
designed
had to
this.
make
I mean,
that.
they're like intricate little design on this thing, and then the wires inside. But someone had to sit there and put that all together.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And how intricate this is. Your eyeball is 1,000 times more intricate than that. To then think that,
Do you think they were in China or like India or something?
I don't know. I think this was made in China.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean,
That's
it's,
crazy.
it's the Blue Yeti. But what I'm saying is so that's why I have an issue with atheism. To me, I think atheism is just basically, most atheists have met. I mean, they're very nice people, but I think it's more, they have this idea of God, and they'll probably say, no, we don't believe in God. But I think that they've had an experience, like you said, a bad experience with someone who's quote unquote a Christian or a Muslim or something,
Yeah.
where they have a belief system and they've had a bad experience with that person. So then they're like, well, I don't believe in God because of this guy is a jerk. And so, and I
Yeah.
think that's sad if that's the case. But like for me, because I do believe in a God, I get joy in like things like sunsets, and I'm like, wow, like my wife is always like, oh, she does this all the time with the kids. Like when we see something really awesome and really beautiful, she'll say something. She'll ask, like, even our young, she goes, who made that? And
That's cool.
And
Charlie's
and
awesome.
and they'll be like, God did. And she goes, why did he do that? And they're like, because he loves us. And so it's like, and so then she's kind of teaching them in a way that a joyful thing that there's a God who actually loves you and made these really cool things to make life really neat and interesting.
Yeah.
And then like, and every day we're seeing more and more creatures in the world that they're discovering. Like all the time I see things about the Amazon and a new spider, a new frog, and they're like these crazy things, like colors. And you're just like, wow, that's craziness. And to think, wow, that's here. And for me, that gives me joy to see these amazing creatures that exist. Because, like, I have a crazy imagination. And then when I see something that blows my mind away, like, wow, I can't believe that's real.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, so, I get joy out of that kind of stuff.
If people that are watching it, they don't know Carly. That's my sister. He's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
She was growing up, like, she was definitely she was the angel of our family. She still is the angel of our family.
Yeah, rest of y'all suck.
Yeah, I don't know how many times me and my siblings have gone to jail, or like, but we always get out. We don't let it like keep us down. Like
you eventually get out.
We eventually, and the reason is because we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're like, you know what, life is good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's bad things. Yeah, I got arrested, but is that the world's fault or is that my fault? That's my fault. So like then it's like a learning experience. So like I personally get excited when I do dumb stuff because I'm like, well, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you get to make your life better. And that's always like if life was super easy for me, I would just be like yeah, I complain and bitch about certain things, but it like at the end of the day, like it's so much nicer like when stupid shit happens because when it's fixed, even if it's only fixed for like 20 minutes, it's like yes. I won
For that 20 minutes.
But sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's months, years that you get to obtain like just some really good stuff. But I think it's when you get comfortable is like when things can start to hit the fan.
Yeah, like when you think everything's happy and you're in this rhythm and you're not going up, you're not going down, you're just plateaued.
Yeah.
Like,
you're like talk like I would say like Christianity or God is like something important to you, and I think it's important to me as well. I think the problem I've always had is like, or not always. I think just recently where I'm like yeah, I love God, but I'm like there's sometimes I like see like some people like using it as a crutch to not be like I like the idea of like all of us being like godly and just like crushing it, and like just like not necessarily changing the world, but being in this world, being in this moment, and just doing the most that we possibly can. Because it's like I see like some people that go to church, and it's like they go to church every Sunday, and like I don't really go to church. I go every now and then, and I'm like, this is cool, but I'm like sometimes I get anxious because I'm like, man, I want to be doing something like and I guess that's me being, it could be me being selfish, like, oh crap, like I'm not like giving time to God, but I'm like, I think me doing things in life is like giving time for God, because he's not seeing me be lazy. He's seeing me create something or be something, and he's probably, or I'm not, we'll talk about genders and stuff like that one day, but I love that talk. But like whatever you want to call God or the universe or the science or whatever it is, like I don't even know where I was going with that. I got lost.
Yeah, lost. See, and that's why God comes and helps you find the way.
You found it. Wow. But so other ways, like how are, besides like I think everyone's like, I'm not necessarily scared of dying.
Yeah.
It's like weird because it's like, oh shoot, like eventually it's gonna happen. Like
yeah, everybody dies.
But then sometimes I'm like, what if it just like maybe there's heaven, but like what if it like never ends? Like maybe like reincarnation.
Yeah.
What if that's?
Oh, that'd be awful.
I think it'd be so. I love being here on Earth. Like if I could just keep coming back.
My worry is like, see here.
I would just love.
I know this is off where we're going away from joy, but with reincarnation,
no, this is still joy.
I always thought it was funny because like when you talk to people who believe in reincarnation.
Yeah. Shh, guys gotta do this video. So I'm trying to put my daughter to sleep, but
oh shoot,
I'm supposed to be talking about what I had for breakfast.
Pause it. Dang
so.
That's my computer. Shit.
I was like, what was that?
I think it's my computer.
That was amazing.
That's my buddy.
Yeah.
I have this online. Shoot.
Yeah.
I have this online. I'm gonna just put my laptop somewhere else. It's closed. I don't know why I did that. Or was that your phone?
That was not my phone.
I don't know.
That was like the voice of God saying he's putting his daughter to sleep.
Oh wait.
What?
My dad, he's on his phone. It's hooked up to the Bluetooth.
Nice.
And he's looking at. Ah, dang it.
Nah,
So let me explain that to people. I have this online challenge with friends, family, and people that I've just recently met, where it's a fitness challenge, and we talk to each other on Facebook, and we make videos, and we work out, and yeah, okay, that's all I got.
Yeah, that was awesome though.
But that's what brings me joy in my life. Is like
helping other people.
Seriously, like
the best they can.
I called it the Thunderbolt Challenge. I think I talked about how my nickname used to be Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of like came about. But because I was like that was second grade was a good year where I was like, I think I was kind of perfect. You know? Like, and that's what I want to strive for is like Greek gods, like their idea of life was, or the Greeks back in the day, they wanted to strive for perfection.
Right.
And I like that. I like the idea of like just trying to be perfect. And that's where like sometimes I get lost with Christianity, because I hate the idea of like, oh, we're sinners, because I'm like, yeah, but
see,
there's so much good that we do.
Well, I think that's where a lot of people, like even like people who claim that they're Christians, they fall like, yeah, we're sinners, and that means that we're not perfect. But then if you read the Bible and stuff, it doesn't say stop there. It says that God, if you trust in God, he's going to help you become perfect, and you're supposed to strive for perfection. But like you said, there's people who go to church, and they're like, I've heard people said like, I'm not perfect, I'm just saved, or but they're not striving to change in any way. They're just like, well, God's going to save me. I trust God's going to. But then it's like, well, he doesn't tell you just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
He wants you to strive for perfection. There's a whole thing about running the race to the end, and if you just are like, oh, I believe in God, here we go.
But what if like perfection to you is like being,
Doing nothing.
well, just being like relaxed, being like a monk and just like kind of
Well,
just like
maybe.
watching everything.
Well, that
just
could
like,
be who you are, but it's like as long as you're doing something other than if you're just sitting there waiting, thinking, "Well, I don't have to do anything."
Yeah,
But see, even the monks who just sit there and they observe, they've made vows or they've made decisions to do stuff, and it may not be what I choose to do, but they're still doing something. But like I said, they're like there's people who go to the churches and then go out and there's no different. There was a guy who once said that if you are the same person you were, like he said, like I shouldn't compare myself to you, especially like in working out and stuff, like where you are and working out and where I'm working out are two different
I don't know
places.
how to video edit.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, you shouldn't compare yourself to me in that,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't compare myself into like, oh, I should be at this stage.
Oh, yeah, you could be like, you could want to be like a really good swimmer, and I could want to be a really good runner. So like, if
Yeah.
we're comparing each other, it's like,
Yeah,
well,
you're-
hey, these are
right.
two different. They're
Yeah.
not parallel.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're both fitness, but it's like you're
They're
not
different.
running in the pool.
Yeah.
Like you can, I guess, if it's like shallow enough. But it's like if you're a runner, run. If you're
Yeah.
a swimmer, swim.
But what this guy said is like, don't compare yourself to somebody else. Compare yourself to yourself. But compare yourself from where you are here to where you were a year ago.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at the same exact spot, you've done nothing. But if, let's say, you were here and now you're here a year later, you've accomplished something. So you can look back and say, man, I'm not to the level I want to be at, but I'm not where I was.
Yeah.
So you're constantly moving. So even if, like, let's say, like you said, like a person who isn't like actively doing this, but he has other goals, as long as, like, let's say the guy's like, I want to read 100 books.
Yeah, but
Well,
why?
just that's his goal. That's what he wants.
What's it gonna bring him though? Like, is that gonna bring him joy?
That could be his joy. Reading, learning.
Reading.
Well,
But
reading
how do you
is
know?
learning, and
Like, how, like,
well, that's in each individual. Their joy is different,
and that's what's weird.
right?
Is
So
that
that's
everybody has like their own idea of joy, where it's like, where like I see some people like you video editing and stuff. I'm like, oh, that gives me depression. Like, like having to like
Yeah.
mess with that stuff. I'm like, oh, like if someone told me, hey, you gotta
Yeah.
edit this, I'd be like, no, you gotta shut up.
Right. But see, then that brings us full circle because that shows that every person's different, and then every person's an individual, and every person has their own idea of what will make them a better person, but will bring them joy. And then that brings you back to the whole atheist thing, because God makes everything different and crazy and creative.
Where does
And
it say that?
Well, it's just that he's a creative individual. If he
Oh.
created you, he created everybody individually. Then that makes you think that. Now I forgot where I was going. But no, I know where I was going. No, so that then everyone is different. So if everything evolved the same and there was no person controlling, not controlling, but creating and doing it, everything would be the same.
Yeah.
Like people would all kind of evolve to this point, like, oh, we're all at this perfection, but we're not. Everybody's at a different level, different things. You look like a caveman, I look like a normal human.
Yeah.
And so that's how we know that there's something more going on, and there's joy, and everybody's got a different version of joy, and what brings them not happiness, but joy, because that's different. Happiness and joy are two different things, because happiness is controlled by outside elements. Joy
Yeah.
comes from within you.
So I guess like for me, like what I'm getting is like every single day there should be one thing that you're doing that could potentially give you long-term happiness.
Right.
Like whether that's making a podcast together with your buds,
Mm-hmm.
or whether that's making a whole bunch of money in the stock market,
Or working out.
or working out, or going on a vacation, seeing the world, or going to church if you're churchy, or staying away from church if it scares you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then everybody's got to find out what brings them joy. And we want to know what brings you guys joy. Find us on Facebook, because we have a Facebook page.
Hell yeah, we do.
And tell us what brings you joy. We hope you enjoy this, and we'll be back real soon with another show. And we look forward to it. We'll
Bada
see you
bing,
next
bada
time.
boom.
See you.
Peace. Cool.
Iconoclast Speaks.